The dirt roads wind up this mountain of refuse, made of 4.5 million tons of garbage. Trucks come from all corners of Delhi, bringing a further 8,000 tons of waste per day. That garbage is the only source of income for around 500 waste collectors. They are a marginalised group. The Ghazipur landfill and the immense problems it poses are something most of Indian society does not want to know about. Activist Vimlendu Jha wants to help the people who eke out an existence here. It's the children in particular whose plight concerns him.
So we are at the landfill. That's where the trucks are getting dumped. If you see, there's a huge dumping, and as soon as that dumping takes place, boys run after that to collect some garbage. These are tiny kids, as in, most of them are 10, 12, 14-year-olds. Many of them are younger than that. They're all waste collectors. They're all rat pickers who try to really make a living out of waste.
Chewing tobacco helps stave off hunger and the terrible stench. Many of the children are orphans. Their friends are the only family they have. On a good day, they might earn €2 from the plastic bottles, metal parts, and even human hair they collect. It's enough to survive, but not to escape the filth of the refuse dump. The waste pickers of Ghazipur serve an important function. They salvage recyclable material that would otherwise be lost forever.
There's hardly any recycling that is done by the government, in the sense if there's any recycling that is only done by the rag pickers. If you see, they segregate the garbage, they segregate things and sell it in the informal market. In a way, there's nothing in terms of waste management other than transportation. These rickety trucks that you see, that is what is the government effort, and that's it.
India's refuse problem has reached alarming proportions. One of the hubs of informal electronic waste recycling is found in the north of Delhi. In alleys and backyards here, men and children take apart televisions and computers, processors and hard drives. In Delhi alone, some 30,000 people are involved in informal e-waste recycling. The material used to come from all over the world. Now most of it is the refuse of India's growing middle class. The system is incredibly efficient. But there are no controls in place here when it comes to the environmental and human cost. This is where the German Agency for International Cooperation comes in. Its team wants to help use the potential of the informal sector while meeting environmental and health and safety standards.
If you look at the recycling system as a whole, there are different elements of it. So there's one element which is pre-processing, which is basically about dismantling, not segregating the materials. And in that process, India is incredibly efficient. It's much more efficient than any other country in the world, including Germany and other countries in the EU. However, when you come to the next step of recovering materials from the dismantled material, that's where you go wrong in India.
The agency has set up new recycling facilities to combat the problem. The idea is to use the knowledge of the informal waste collectors as a way of improving the recycling process. Harm to human health or the environment is minimized. Circuit boards contain small amounts of gold and other precious metals, as well as valuable copper. In addition to running a profitable operation, the agency also wants to create new prospects for the people working in the informal sector.
Waste has traditionally been looked at as a dirty business, and traditionally also it's been the occupation of the marginalized, and that is one of the major drivers for them to formalize. So when we go and talk to them and when we say, okay, you'll be a part of the mainstream, they actually like that part.
If India is to solve its growing refuse problem, society will also have to reassess its view of the waste pickers, or kabadiwalas, as the scrap dealers are often called. Right next to the landfill, they sort the items they've salvaged before selling them elsewhere in bulk. This unregulated community of e-waste collectors are taking care of a task that should be the responsibility of local authorities. If it weren't for their hard work, entire cities in India would be suffocating in garbage.
It's so unfortunate that we have these poor people who are doing this, but imagine if they were not doing it, who would be taking care of our environment? So I consider these rag pickers as the great green warriors who don't get recognition for their environmental work. They are really doing a big service to the environment and our planet.
A couple of years ago, Bimlendu saw the huge potential involved. He was determined to find a way of literally revaluing the material, a concept he calls upcycling. This is the philosophy behind the Green the Gap project, turning trash into fashion and opening up new opportunities for the waste collectors.
From the landfill, when the rag pickers collect, also from neighborhoods, when the rag pickers collect a lot of waste, they bring it here and we buy it from them. So these are different kinds of chips packet that you see. Also here, this side, we have some more rubber. So, it's kept in drums. In this entire thing, what you see is these juice boxes, Tetra Pak cartons. They're again made into wallets, and men's wallets, ladies' wallets, and bags.
Green the Gap's flagship store is located in the upscale Haus Khas area of Delhi and does brisk business there. It even sells its goods to customers worldwide. It's a creative way of making India's growing consumer society more aware of recycling.